Hi, this is Adam Salmon here. I'm going to be talking today about how Rapise and Spira from Inflectra provide an integrated quality solution. So we'll be looking at the Spira application, which is right here. It comes in SpiraTest, SpiraPlan, and SpiraTeam editions. And we'll be looking at the Rapise application here, which is our test automation tool. So these two products work together. So you'll be using Spira to create a new product, to create some requirements, we'll define some test cases, and then we'll be using Rapise to do the automation. And we'll see how it all works together seamlessly. So let's get started. This is the application we'll be testing. It's our library information system. It's a simple application that you can log in, create books, create authors, view books and authors, and make edits. Again, a simple automation for web testing. Let's go ahead though into Spira first and set up our new product. And I'm logged in as an administrator, so I can create a new product. Let's go ahead and do that. So I go into the main administration menu here, and I go to the view edit products like this. And once the menu comes up, I'm going to create a brand new product. Add product. And we'll call it Library Information System for automated testing. We can give it a description. I don't think we'll bother with that, but we will make it choose its own template so it's completely isolated from all the other projects we have. I'm going to be showing AI functionality, so I need that enabled, and everything else I can leave as the default. So it's going to create a brand new project for me. Super easy. Once that's created, I will want to do one more thing. I will need to give my user that's connecting from Rapise access to it. So to do that, I'm just going to quickly pop over here into Rapise, our test automation tool, go into Tools, Settings, and SpiraTest. I can see it's connecting with the user Fred, so I need to make sure that Fred is a member of this product. So I'll go back over here to Spira, and I go to View All Product Membership, and now I simply click the plus button. I'll choose Fred, and let's add Fred, add him as a product owner, hit Save, and now that Fred's a member, I can then go back into this new product. And if I go to the dashboard, first of all, I'll see it's empty. It's got nothing in it yet because it's brand new. And the first thing we want to do before we start doing testing is have some requirements. So what I'll do is I'll go into my requirements module, and I'm going to create a top-level requirement. The online library management system should let users create, edit, and view a list of books. So that's my one top-level requirement. We can create a second one, which might be the online library management system should let users create, edit, and view the list of authors. And we can create other requirements in a similar fashion. Now, these requirements are still a bit high level. They're not really testable yet. We want them more detailed. So we can use the power of AI to select these two. And we can use Inflectra AI over here. And I'm going to create child requirements for both of them. Perfect. And we've got my test cases. As a user, I want to create books. I want to be able to view books, and I want to edit books. And the same thing with authors. This is pretty good. And if you notice, all of the requirements are listed as not covered, meaning there's no test cases associated with them. They're not testable. So we've created our product backlog. The next thing we want to do is create the test cases. Now, if we're going to create manual test cases, we could do those directly in Spira right here. And we could even use AI just to generate test cases. We could do the same thing for the other requirement as well. But in this case, because I'm going to be working it to do an automated test, I can save a little bit of time by actually doing that from the Rapise side and then linking it. So it depends. You can do it either way. I can create them in Spira and then add them into Rapise for automation. In this case, I'm going to be automating them directly. I can skip that step and save a bit of time. So all I do is I hop over here into Rapise, and I'm going to just make sure my connection to Spira is good. So click on the settings, click test. I'm connected. That's great. And now I open the Spira dashboard right here. I'm just going to hit the refresh icon to make sure it's got latest information. And then I need to do is change my product. So let's go scroll down. And there you can see is my product I just created, a library information system for automated testing right here. Perfect. So now I've got that. I want to create a new test. So to do that, very simple. I go to File, Create New Framework. A framework is a collection of multiple tests, and that makes sense because I'm going to have tests for creating books, editing books, and so on. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll call it Library Information System Testing. That's my framework. It's a web application, so we'll choose that. You can always have other tests in it that might be API or desktop or mobile as well. So you can have a mix, but it is ultimately mainly going to be a web test. So we'll choose web. I've got the Selenium Chrome browser ready. You can record in any number of different browsers, play it back in different browsers. I'll use Chrome, and we hit OK, and now it's creating my new framework. There's my framework. Now I want to add a test case. So very easy. You'll notice here it's got a little helpy tooltip. Click to add the first test case. I can do that. Or I can click on the plus button. So we're going to first of all create a book. So create book. That's our first test case. Hit create. We're going to use the codeless interface inside Rapise to do that. It's called RVL. And now I've got that set up, I can now go in here and actually record my first test. So let's go ahead and do that. Hit record. OK. It's now going to bring up a new browser. I'm asking to bring up Chrome. We'll do that to avoid messing with Spira, which is running in Firefox. Make it easier for today. And there's Chrome coming up. We can now put the URL in. That's the correct URL. We can always put a different URL if you want a different application. Notice in the bottom right, it's recording one of my actions. So I'm just going to log into the application. And you can check here that it's doing the right thing. Yep, set librarian, click on the button. Let's verify we logged in. So I'm going to use the verify option, Control and 1, just doing that right over librarian. Pops up my verification box. Yep, that's correct. And then let's go ahead and we're going to create a book. So let's go to book management. Let's click on create a book. Let's now give the book a name. So it's by Ian McEwan. Let's say it's Child in Time by Ian McEwan. It's sort of science fiction-ish. That's fine. Insert. And we want to verify the book was correct. So we'll do Control and 1 to do a verification step. And we'll do text. Perfect. Let's log out to set up our system back to its restart. So that way, if I run it a second time, it will log in again. Hit finish. And now I've got my test case. Give it a second to wrap up recording. Open up Rapise here. Append. And there's my test case right there. All written out for me nicely. Now, because of the seamless integration with Spira, we want to be able to save that and version that and make sure if I make a change or edits, I can revert back. So to do that, we go back to our Spira dashboard, hit save first, and then we just go sync with Spira. And you can see here it's got the Spira product. That's the right one. The folder name it's creating, that's fine. And now it's going to upload the test cases. In this case, it'll upload the create new book. Okay, uploaded to Spira, nice and easy. All right, let's add a second test case, just so you can see the framework functionality. So to do that, I want to be able to edit a book. So I'll click plus, and we'll call that test case edit Here we book. Go. Hit create. Here we go. And let's record this. So we're going to hit record, because it'll go back to my sample application. Here we go. Let's log in and edit a book. Now, in real life, I might want to make the login steps shared between the two different test cases. We'll do that in a separate video. Today, I just want to show you the integration between Spira and Rapise, how seamless it is. But we have other videos on that topic. So let's log in. Librarian. The same user does have permissions to edit books as well as create. Otherwise, we might use a different login. Okay, let's go to book management. I won't verify I logged in this time. We've done that already. Go to book management. And now let's click on the edit button for a book, Chesil Beach. And let's say we change the name of Chesil Beach to 2nd edition. That's fine. And now we'll verify that that change was made using verify. Hit OK. Let's log out. Let's hit finish. Head back over here to Rapise. There's our test. Let's save it. And now just to make sure it's all saved in Spira, we do sync with Spira. And you'll see now it's uploading my new test case right here. Hit OK. So now both test cases have been synchronized with Spira. So what does that look like? If we hop back over to Spira, test management right here, if I go into my main artifact menu and then go to test cases, you'll see we've got a test folder created called Library Information System Testing. That's the name of my framework. If I click on it, you'll see I've got the overall framework test case, and then I've got my two individual real test cases, create book and edit book. So let's click on create book. Let's go ahead and now link that to my requirement. So I go to add, go to my requirements tree, and let's link that to creating a book. Let's go to edit book, and let's link that one to edit book, which is the third one. We haven't explicitly done a test for viewing, but you can argue that both test cases do effectively cover that, because in order to edit the book and create the book and check it afterwards, I did actually check the viewing. So in real life, we probably go to the risk requirement and we might say, let's go ahead and add a new link from this test requirement to both of these two. These two both cover it implicitly. And then we might want to add another test case for explicitly doing viewing and filtering and searching perhaps, but that's okay. So we've now got all three of my book management requirements covered right here. And that means the parent is now covered. So that's perfect. Now, how do I run these tests? Well, I can obviously go into test sets, and you'll notice there is a default test set already created by Rapise right here, but there's nothing in it. So the good thing is Rapise makes this really easy too. If I jump back over here to Rapise, back to my dashboard, if I go to test sets, I can click on the test set, and I can now include the two test cases that I've written. So let's go ahead and add them. So let's add creating a book and editing a book. You can see that the little checkbox goes black, hit the add button, and they're now added. Now I want to do the creation before the edit. So it's the wrong order. That's no problem. I'll just drag this up, just take the triple line, just drag it up like that. And now it's in the right order. Now we have our test set. We can now do a couple of different things. If I go back to Spira and refresh, you'll see that the test set in Spira's got two test cases in the correct order. I can then run this from Spira. I can go in here and I can set the scheduled date and time, and I can choose the automation host to run it on and hit play, and that will be scheduled from Spira. And that's great if I'm going to schedule to run in the future. But what if I want to run it right now and just see the results? Well, there's a shortcut in Rapise to make that even easier. I can go over here to my test set, go to the action, and I can go execute now. Notice that I can also execute on host. So if I want to run it on a different machine, on a pipeline or something, I can do that right here. But in this case, for this video today, I'm going to run it locally so you can see that in action. I can also schedule it for the future and show the execution plan. So everything you can do in Spira, you can do from within Rapise, and it updates Spira using our API. So it's really nice. I can work in Rapise or Spira, have it fully integrated. Let's go ahead and execute it though. I'm going to run the tests, and I'm going to bring up Chrome so you can see them. Here it goes, logging in, creating a book, doing verification, logged out, and that's going to run the second one, logging in, editing a book. It was ready on that value because we hadn't reset the browser session, but in real life that would have been changed. It did change it to itself, so that's correct. If you want to be more careful, we could add a verification before it ran to make sure that it was in the old value, making our test more resilient, and it's finished. So now that it's finished, I can hop over here to Rapise. You'll see in the dashboard it shows it's passed, which is great. If I jump over here to Spira and go back to test set view, you will see it is passed as well. Both test cases have passed. If I go to my requirements view, you'll see that all my tests have mapped up to my requirements. My requirements are fully passed and covered. And lastly, if I go to my dashboard and go to the testing view, you will see that the dashboard is now showing all the requirements that were mapped have been passed. Now, there are some requirements not yet covered. We're missing test cases, that's correct. But all the ones that are covered have passed. So great. So in this video, I showed you how you can create a new product in Spira, link it to Rapise, create some requirements using AI, how you can then write some tests and record them using Rapise, and then link to requirements in Spira and play them back directly. And that also just a few minutes, very easy to set up. And the nice thing is it's all managed natively by Spira, our test management solution, and executed by Rapise, our test automation solution. And the AI I showed you is placed on Inflectra AI that also has additional AI functionality in Rapise as well. Thanks so much for watching.